is SportsCenter.
The show must.
Brad Miller. Brad Miller has come in here, and he's playing on a team like he's been with the team for 2 or 3 years. He's had an exceptional year. I think he has a chance to make the All-Star team. They have the best front court, best offensive front court in basketball, but they still got to figure out their defense. They got to figure out, are they tough on figure out how to fit Chris Webber into the lineup.
Let's look at the starting lineups. Mike Bibby, of course, from Phoenix, joins Doug Christie in the backcourt with Stojakovic, Brad Miller, and Vlade Divac. Leandro Barbosa, the rookie out of Brazil, 2 good games. He's the starting point guard now, along with Joe Johnson, Sean Marion, Jake Voskuhl at the center position for Phoenix, and Antonio McDyess in the starting lineup. Phoenix in that alternate uniform, the pink with the the orange. It's ugly.
It's like salmon, isn't it?
It's salmon.
That's what it is. Salmon and gray.
With the PHX in the front. Sacramento in the purple starts. And Mike Bibby on the opening drive. Mrs. Divac gets the rebound, gets the basket, and will go to the line. Let's visit with a 4th man on our team. Here's Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. I spoke to Amari Stoudemire. He was expected to miss a couple of more games. I asked him why tonight. He said he was just ready. He was tired of sitting. Said he feels like he's almost had an entire offseason in the 18 games that he has missed because coach has been fired, Frank Johnson, Stephen Marbury has been traded. He says that and the ankle will be quite an adjustment. Says he hopes he's not limited in his playing time tonight, but I spoke to Mike D'Antoni, and he told me that he's going to give him 10 minutes in each half, about a total of 20 minutes, Mike, not because of the ankle, but because of conditioning.
All right, Jim, we'll keep an eye on that. He did look great at shoot-around this morning. Divac made the free throws, 3-0. Sean Marion, the first shot for Phoenix. McDyess tried to chase it down, but it's out of bounds off the Kings. You mentioned Mike D'Antoni, who is 4-11 since coming in to replace Frank Johnson as the head coach of the Suns. Frank relieved of his duties. 10 days into December, there is Leandro Barbosa, the 21-year-old rookie from Brazil, with the first basket for the Suns.
I think Leandro Barbosa is going to be a surprise. I think he's the guy in the 2 games that has kind of lit up this team with his energy, his excitement. And he's just a quick little player that surprised a lot of people.
Divac takes it at Jake Voskuhl. A lot of Sacramento fans on hand here tonight. And the team they're rooting for up 3 early.
Does Divac get more smiles per bucket in the NBA? Like just some of the stuff that he makes you just laugh and go, how'd that go in?
Joe Johnson up top, knocks down a 2. 30-year man out of Arkansas, originally drafted by the Celtics with the 10th pick in the 2001 draft.
You look at this team and you think to yourself, well, they get rid of Marbury. Are they just trying to start over? Not really, because they got some pretty good wing players in Johnson and Marion. And if Stoudemire keeps progressing and he gets as good as people think he may get, they're not that far away from contending, not for a championship, but for a playoff spot in the West.
Voskuhl watched by Brad Miller. Taken at Miller as they cleared out for Jake. Wow. Looking for the foul. Shot clock did not reset. 6 to shoot for Marion. Sean chased down the miss. 3 tries. 3 attempts. No field goals.
Talk about killing your shooting percentage in 1 trip.
I think this trade has opened up the window for Sean Marion to upgrade his game. I mean, he's got to go from a good player to a really good player to be effective and help this team win.
Divac missed from the outside. It's last touch by McDyess and stays with Phoenix.
I think Phoenix is a little bit of a land of opportunity. A lot of guys have opportunity. Mike D'Antoni has an opportunity to get back in coaching. You got guys like Joe Johnson. You got Barbosa. You're going to have Lampy on the bench. Zarco
Chabarkaba. We're going to see him from Yugoslavia, 6'11", the rookie who was the Suns' first-round pick in this past June's NBA draft. He's been out for the last 22 games with a right wrist fracture. We will see Zarco back in the lineup tonight. Joe Johnson rimmed it out. That's going to be a foul on Voskuhl, who used too much arm before he got the board.
Yeah, when you go after an offensive rebound, you got to use your hips. You got to put your hips into people and keep your arms straight up in the air. As soon as you lower that arm and push somebody in the back. Wow, quick tee.
Technical foul called on Mike Bibby of Sacramento.
How did he get it?
I don't know, but it was quick. Whatever he said wasn't appreciated by the officials.
No, not at all. Mike, as we mentioned, went to high school here in the Phoenix area as Sean Marion, the 6th best free throw shooter in the league at 88%. Missed it there, so no harm with the tee.
I think he may have been mad the last time he thought Barbosa fouled him when he went to the hoop.
Yep, you're right. Stojakovic the miss. Antonio McDyess gets the board. Doug Christie, first team all-defense last year in the NBA, knocked it out. Now McDyess comes over in the trade from the Knicks, and he's the guy who is the highest profile player to come to Phoenix in the deal. McDyess had worked his way back into the New York starting lineup for the last half dozen games before the deal on Monday. Bosco from the free throw line gives Phoenix the lead.
I think McDyess missing 2 years is going to be a really interesting 3 months for him to figure out his game, how it's changed, and how he's got to redevelop his game.
Miller drew the knee, and Christie is the outside jumper, but Flatley tips it to Peja Stojakovic.
And that was not by accident. That was by design.
Sacramento back on top. This is a Kings team playing its 5th game in 7 nights and coming off the loss to Seattle on Wednesday. McDyess connects from the outside. As he came back with the Knicks, he was averaging 23 minutes, 8.5 points, and 6 boards.
Well, the thing with him is, can he regain his athletic ability? Because that's what made him a special player, being able to be explosive and get over people.
Stojakovic, 3rd leading scorer in the NBA. 25 a game. Tracy McGrady in the 2 spot. Now in Iverson leading the league in score. McDyess hit one from there, couldn't hit the second. And Doug Christie kept his toes in bounds and is fouled by Joe Johnson in the backcourt. Mentioned Stojakovic, 25 a game.
He's become one of the best shooters, best catch and shoot basketball players in the NBA. He's having a fantastic season. He's shooting a combined 185 on a shooting formula that we'll go into a little bit later in the game, which was maybe the best ever in the NBA.
Here he is again with that quick release. That one rimmed out and rebounded by Barbosa. Long arms for the 6'3" guard from Brazil. He's 21 years old. Jake Bosco gets his 2nd field goal, and Phoenix back on top by 1.
Well, you look at the Phoenix team, and they're long. Marion's long. Johnson's pretty long. Barbosa's super long. And if they're going to be competitive and win, one of the things they're going to have to do is get themselves in passing lanes, get steals, and get out in transition and score.
The reaction for Amari Stoudemire as he returns for the first time in 5 weeks.
I think the game has almost a feel of an exhibition game for Phoenix. The crowd isn't really here. There's Sacramento King fans here.
It seems like there are more King fans than Phoenix fans here.
Christie hits the 3 to put Sacramento back on top, 12-10. So Marion and Stoudemire, along with McDyess, big question is how they're going to work together. Right now it's McDyess on the bench. Barbosa a little bit out of control. Stoudemire gets to test that ankle right away, trying to save it. He does to Marion. 2 to shoot. And Marion knocks it down. So the rookie of the year last year, Amari Stoudemire, who injured that left ankle 5 weeks ago tonight in Boston against the Celtics. Back in action with a good hustle play there. Bibby. Sacramento off to a nice shooting start from the outside.
I think Sacramento might be the best shooting basketball team I have ever seen. And it's incredible how they shoot the ball. And I think ever. I'm saying the best basketball team shooting-wise ever. And I think a lot of it has to do with their ability to pass the basketball at every position, too.
Bibby hustles here to keep this one alive. Has Miller with him. Stoudemire came back for the block, but picked up the foul as Miller hit the deck.
The referee missed that one.
He's saying wrist. Unless his wrist is orange and has seams in it. I'm pretty sure that was all ball. Yeah.
Top of the ball.
That's a good block.
Well, Amari Stoudemire has sat out for 5 weeks, and in 2 trips up and down the floor, shows the athletic ability that earned him the Rookie of the Year last year. Thanks to Peja Stojakovic, one of the best shooting teams that he has seen. Here's the formula you were talking about, Coach, for great shooters. Add them all up, right?
Yeah. Over an NBA season, if you shoot 170 with field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, and free throw percentage, I think you're a great shooter. And Stojakovic is shooting 185. Wow. I have never seen it that high. Now you got Miller, Brad Miller also over 170, and Doug Christie over 170. Having a big guy over 170 is an exceptional situation.
And Mike Bibby darn close at 169, but you say as you watch that number over the year, if you are at 170, you have a great shooter on your hands.
It's a great shooter, but Sacramento as a team is at 168, which is even, I mean, the next team in the NBA is at 160. That differential in that situation is incredibly high. And I think it's a lot of, again, as I said before, they're a great shooting team, but their passing gets them so many open jump shots. I think it makes them even a better, even a special shooting team.
Brad Miller makes 1 of 2, a 3-point Sacramento lead. Sean Marion and Mari Stoudemire trying to work together. They didn't work much together in practice today. Stoudemire knocks down that jumper. The one thing is, with these two guys, it's a little bit less of a problem. They work together here. It will be more of an issue with Stoudemire playing on the floor when Antonio McDyess comes in, because they have not worked together at all.
Well, they don't have, I mean, outside of Jake Voskuhl, they really don't have a backup center. I mean, he is their center. And there you look at what Coach was talking about, just the passing and everybody being able to shoot. I mean, this team's going to have to be a hustle team. It's going to be a hustle team offensively and a hustle team defensively. They're not going to clamp down in the half court on defense, nor are they going to outscore you in the half court on offense.
Doug Christie goes up and blocks Joe Johnson, but got a little piece of the third-year man, and a foul is called. Well, George, you alluded to Sacramento in that formula, adding field goal, free throw, and three-point percentage. That's a big margin to be 8 ahead of the next team.
Not only 8 ahead, but 15 ahead of the league average. I mean, they're an incredible free throw shooting team, which will probably go down when Weber returns. And they're shooting at over 80%, which is fantastic. You win basketball games with shooting, especially at the free throw line, but they're just a fantastic shooting basketball team.
With a win tonight, Rick Adelman will tie Doug Moe for 17th on the all-time NBA win list.
Hasn't the trade turned this team over to Stoudemire? I mean, being realistic, they have basically said that they think Stoudemire can be a special player. And with all the young players, they're going to give him this season and hopefully next season to really prosper and grow and to become a star.
Zone here nearly forced a turnover with Stoudemire, but plenty of time for Bibby. To Stojakovic for corner 3 with big arms flying at him.
I think it takes you a while as a young player to grow into that role. I think you have to be a very special player and a very confident player to take over a team earlier on in your career. And you usually don't see it before guys get to be 24, 25 years old. They just don't feel confident enough telling the older guys what they should be doing, the veteran guys.
Joe Johnson off the mark. Voskuhl tried to hustle to keep it alive, and it is a mistaken point. The ball does belong to Sacramento.
I mean, let's be honest, the trade was about money.
Oh, no question it's about money.
It was a $66 million payroll, and they were last. And they had maybe a chance of making the playoffs, but they had no chance of winning in the playoffs.
They didn't have a chance this year to make the playoffs. Bibby from the outside knocks it down, 22-15.
They do shoot the ball pretty well.
It's such a, I love that play because it's not so much a set play where Bibby or one of the guards passes it. Shot by Barbosa, knocking down the 3. Had 4 of those against Milwaukee last game. But you watch, and they'll pass it to the high post, and it's an option. Can I cut? If I cut and the guy cuts me off, I'll back out and hit the jump shot. If they guard me there, then I'll curl around to the middle. I mean, it's almost like an option quarterback running the option, and you go ahead and decide. And right there, you see Mike Bibby was going to cut to the basket. Barbosa cut it off. He jab stepped back and got an easy 17-footer. It's such a tough play to defend when you got guys that can shoot running off the pick and guys that can pass like the big men of Sacramento.
One more coming for Bibby as Phoenix will now bring in Antonio McDyess and Casey Jacobson, second-year man out of Stanford, off the bench. And also the other player came over in the trade with New York, Howard Isley, now a 10-year veteran point guard. That'll send the rookie Barbosa to the bench.
And let me just say, it'll be enjoyable to watch Casey Jacobson, Stanford Cardinal, get pummeled tomorrow in Tucson.
Tom?
Yes?
Just because you're in the state of Arizona and you're an alum doesn't mean you have to blatantly suck up on TV here. Come on. So Stoudemire, Marion, and McDyess work together for the first time for Phoenix. Stoudemire out of control, but still makes the wild running shot.
And the Russian judge gives him 9 1/2. Are you kidding me with that shot? He wanted to pass it. He wanted to pass it when he got up midair. No one was open.
It all starts in the hands of Divac. So many options, so hard to defend. It's knocked out of bounds. 11 to shoot. Here is that shot by Stoudemire.
Well, he wanted to pass. Watch him up in the air, late pass. Oop, no, I'll shoot it. Nice. That's amazing.
Bibby tried to run Isley off a screen. Got free, but here comes Howard Isley back the other way. Christie able to keep it alive, and Sacramento takes the turnover. Good job by Jacobson, not giving Stojakovic any room to shoot. And back out to Christie, re-tees Peja. Even his misses look like they're going in, don't they?
You know, I don't know if you'd agree, Coach, but to me, we talk about Peja's quick release sometimes, and he certainly has a quick release. I think he may be the quickest in the league at getting his feet set to shoot the ball.
Offensive foul on Stoudemire.
I think a lot of young players don't understand your feet come before your hands. And another guy that does that very well, is having a great year, is Michael Redd in Milwaukee. Yeah. He works very well, and everybody talks about his quick release, but his feet are under him almost all the time before he shoots the basketball, as does Peja.
That foul on Stoudemire, his second, so Amari will go to the bench with 3.5 left here in the quarter. And Donnell Harvey will check in. And Donnell Harvey's, gosh, he's a longtime son. He's been here almost 2-3 weeks. He came over to trade from Orlando back in December for a second-round pick in the 2004 draft, and we got one going the other way now. Offensive foul on Stojakovic. There is Donnell Harvey.
He's a big, athletic guy that can get up and down the court, but I really think he probably would have been better served staying in Florida for another year, maybe another 2 years. I mean, it's hard to say. You know, you can't tell a guy what to do and don't pass up the money, but he's the same player he was at Florida. Big, strong, athletic, doesn't have much of a post game, but he can get in there and block some shots and guard some people because of his strength and length. But really, as far as basketball skills goes, he's got a ways.
Here is McDyess working on Divac. And all purple under the glass. 3 minutes left here in the opening quarter. Sacramento trying to get to 25-9 on the season. Bobby Jackson in the lineup now with Bibby and Stojakovic. Brad Miller and Divac, the two bigs. Miller chased it down. Beautiful pass from Peja to Vlade. Sacramento shooting 53% here in this first quarter. The Phoenix not too far away. They're 10 of 20 from the field. Isley and McDyess, the two former New York Knicks. Leads to the first hoop for Howard, who was a early second-round pick of the Timberwolves back in '94. He's bounced around. Knicks, Utah, very good years backing up John Stockton in Utah. And those Western Conference champion Jazz teams. Jackson over Isley. First hoop for Bobby.
Best basketball player coming off the bench in the NBA last year, and I still think he's having a better year this year.
This one kick. Reset the clock after this timeout. Inside of 2 minutes. Sacramento leading here by with the Knicks. And I also think we shouldn't lose the other players in that trade. Milos Mujanic, who is a second-round pick, a point guard over in Europe now as Isley connects. The people in Europe will tell you, and I've told Mike D'Antoni, the head coach, that he might be the best point guard over in Europe. Tony Massenberg off the bench, missed the dunk, but was fouled. Mujanic is averaging 19 points a game. Played with Zarko Chaparkapa on the Yugoslav national team that won the gold medal at the World Championships. He has told the European media he will come over to Phoenix next year. So that's another player that they add to the mix. And 2 draft picks here down the line.
Well, Phoenix has opened up the opportunity to make some moves. They have draft picks. They're going to have some cap room. And they're going to have some good young basketball players. They're going to probably have to filter a few of them out. And I think they're going to have this season to kind of find who they are and what they're going to do.
You think Jerry Colangelo might use some of that cap room to go sign Vladimir Guerrero?
No.
To say, you know what? I'll take from Peter, give to Paul.
Well, they got rid of Kurt Schilling's salary as he went to Boston. Donnell Harvey hangs in the lane, gets the basket, and the foul. So Harvey will come to the line. Of course, Colangelo in charge across the street at Bank One Ballpark with the Arizona Diamondbacks as well. He is Mr. Phoenix. Came out here with not a lot of money and has really turned this city into a very good sports city with the Suns. Speak of the unit. Speak of the Diamondbacks and Schilling before. Randy Johnson on hand and watching. 30-27. The Sacramento lead is 3 here in the final minute and a half. The opening quarter. He'll be dribbling through. Is fouled as Phoenix is over the limit here. Sacramento will have a foul to give in the last 2.
I think with this trade, what they're saying is Marion and Stoudemire are guys. Those are the guys we're going to build around because they really haven't had much of an identity since the days of Chambers, Marley, and Barkley.
You decide which players will be All-Star starters. Log on to NBA.com and cast your ballot for the 2004 NBA All-Star Game. 5 weeks away at the Staples Center in Los Angeles.
Then I shouldn't forget Kevin Johnson either. He was a main cornerstone here for a long time.
5-point game. Both teams shooting over 50%. Sacramento now shooting 60% from the field. Isley, the drop to Jahidi White, the former Georgetown Hoya, tried to throw it down and almost helped knock it out.
I think a hand came up through the basket.
Jackson goes all the way and lays it in.
I don't care. If you're 7 foot, 270, you break that hand.
I think it hit Jahidi's own hand, actually, as he was hanging on the rim. Sacked up by 7 as Isley rims it out, and Hazel comes down with the rebound.
The question is, can the Kings in the first half top the Raptors for the whole game tonight?
Raptors scored 68. Jacobson on the steal, chased by Jackson and Bibby. Casey took it all the way and picks up the foul. Let's go back to that dunk attempt from Jahidi White earlier.
Oh, you hang on the rim, right through. You got it, Coach. You got it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then it did hit his hand, George. So we're both right.
His eyesight. That was good. I'm sorry.
Referee.
Yeah, but I'd like to see that one. That would be very interesting.
Jacobson knocks down the free throw. Casey has been in a shooting slump. Came out his junior year out of Stanford. First Stanford All-American. He's a sophomore. Makes it a 5-point game. Let's see, Tom, just perusing some scores here from earlier tonight. The Jazz put up 35 in the first half. The Wizards 25. And the Nets 38. So.
Yummy. Perusing. Looking over.
White had too much body on Bibby, and the foul is called on Jahidi.
Is it? It seems to me I remember at least 5 or 6 games this year where teams have had 20s at halftime. They're 25, 29, 28, that type of deal. And as well as Houston's played this year, I think they're going to be a different type of team, as Coach has said in the past, to play in the Western Conference playoffs. You wonder if a team like that can ultimately score enough to do something. You can't win a championship averaging 85 points a game, 88. You can't do it.
What's San Antonio do in the playoffs last year? Maybe 1 or 2.
Well, I think during the regular season they were in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, they were 93. Well, I think, once you get to the playoffs, you can score in the low 90s. But I guarantee you, San Antonio, you look at the games they had against Dallas, they were up in the hundreds in those games.
Isley tried to drop it, and the foul is called as Donnell Harvey went up for the dunk with 1.7 to go in the quarter.
I think you got an interesting mesh out west. You got 2 great offensive teams, I think, in Sacramento and Minnesota, who's showing up very well. And you got San Antonio, who's the champion, and a very sound defensive team, wins because of Duncan in their defense. And you got the Lakers kind of searching for who they are. I think Sacramento, to be a championship team, though, has to improve their defense. Before the game, Coach Adelman talked about how this year they're not as good defensively as they were last year. And I think they have to make some type of focus in the next couple months along the way to get better defensively.
A lane violation on Johnny
Couldn't stop himself, could he? It's like that scene in Stripes where John Candy just couldn't stop himself. He kept running off into the woods. You get that much weight going in one direction, it's like, see ya.
Jackson triggers off the rim, and that ends the first quarter. 34-30, the highest scoring.
We were shackled. This helps us.
Was it simply a case where you didn't feel you could win with this group, Amari, Shawn Marion, and Stephon?
Not to the level that we felt we needed to. If you're a little better than 500 in the Western Conference, that's not enough. You need to get into the elite class, and this gives us at least the opportunity to make some moves to make that happen.
Jerry, a lot of people will wonder, with clearing all this money out, is either this, the Phoenix Suns, or the Diamondbacks for sale by you?
Not really. The Diamondbacks are fine right now in terms of our stability. As far as the Suns are concerned, I've indicated I take a financial partner, but that's only for personal reasons. We're fine just the way we are.
If you took a partner, would you remain in control?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm 64. I'm not going to be here forever, and it's been a long career, but I still feel I have some juice left.
Jerry, Antonio McDyess now makes his second trip here. What are your feelings about him and about trying to retain him if he can regain form?
Well, he needs to get healthy. I don't believe he believes he's healthy. His knee's in better shape than we thought it might have been. And so we're anxious to see how he plays the rest of the year. We'll make a decision at that time.
And Mike D'Antoni, is he interim or is he permanent as your head coach?
He's our head coach. I think Mike is an excellent coach. I think he brings an international experience that in this day and age is important to the NBA. And Mike's going to be here for a while.
Final thought, you just got Mr. Alomar over there across the way. Any other baseball moves coming?
I think we're set. We're happy with our roster. We got our payroll down, but we're still at $80 million. And we think we're going to be pretty competitive in our division.
That's without Kurt Schilling down to that. That's amazing.
Well, Kurt's going to have a great impact on Boston and in the Eastern Division in baseball, but we'll be fine out here, too.
Jerry, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, Jim. Good to see you.
Mike, he's got the 5th best record in the NBA over those 35 years. Pretty remarkable.
That's right, Jim. Only the Lakers, Boston, San Antonio, Portland better. Zarko Chaparkapa back in after he has had to sit out 22 games with the right wrist fracture. He just unable to keep it going on the offensive end. Massenberg the miss. Jake Voskuhl to the deck for it. Stojakovic, who's 3 of 9 shooting, comes away with the rebound. It's a 1-point Sacramento lead. They use Massenberg over Donnell Harvey, and the former Florida Gator goes up and gets it. The Suns have a chance for the lead here, guys.
They're getting out and they're scrapping on the defensive end is what they're doing. They're getting themselves some easy shots. Now, if you're Phoenix, you're thinking, let's try to get the ball to Joe Johnson as much as possible. He's the one guy out here that can score. Let's make sure he touches it enough times where he can make something happen on the offensive end.
Anthony Peeler's left-hand stroke off the mark, and it's rebounded by Voskuhl. Isley with the push. Somebody ran away from Howard, so he's able to knock it down, and a very good game going so far. Isley has 9 points, including a 3, and these scrappy Suns lead by 1 3 minutes into the second.
Sacramento's got its bench in the game, even though they're not playing a lot of bench. Got Peeler in the game with Bobby Jackson and Massenberg. And I think that's their weakness right now. One of their areas, they don't come off the bench like they did last year. They're tougher off the bench last year, and Jimmy Jackson was with them. They had Pollard coming off their bench. And Sacramento right now, I think, struggles when they have to go to the bench for that 6 or 7 minutes.
Loose ball foul on Massenberg of Sacramento. We have a timeout. Phoenix leads by 1. Back to time.
You want to kind of just stay in and put the DVDs on and all that movie stuff that you like to do.
Yeah, maybe, I got the NBA package. Maybe watch the Hawks play. How bad are they?
Come on, Tom.
Are you kidding me? And that is just horrendous. They were a lot better after they guaranteed the playoffs last year. They really bucked up. What a program they got there.
Kings have made just one of their last 10 shots, yet they trail by only 1 with Peeler and Christie, Bobby Jackson, Darius Sungailas checked in to join Vlade Divac. And Vlade got a little push there on Antonio McDyess. And the 15-year NBA veteran is called for the foul. You know, this is a neat couple of minutes here, even though Peja Stojakovic has sat and Divac is on the floor for Zarko Chaparkapa of Phoenix, the rookie number 11 for the Suns. There he is. Not just back in the lineup after missing all the time with the wrist injury, but playing in a game against Vlade and Peja, 2 of his teammates on that Yugoslavian team that won the gold in Indianapolis at the World Basketball Championships a year ago. Isley has it knocked away. Here is Jackson. Sacramento back on top. Those 3, Chaparkapa, Divac, and Stojakovic, had dinner last night after Sacramento arrived here in Phoenix. Joe Johnson kept his dribble alive, avoided the double team in the corner, and threw up an air ball. Isley is back as Jackson moves to the goal. Sungaila ran the floor, and the rookie out of Wake Forest kept it alive. Couldn't get it to go, and Voskuhl pulls it down.
Well, one of the things Phoenix is doing a good job on the defensive end is not allowing Sacramento the back cuts. I don't think they've allowed a layup inside from the breakaway this quarter.
Voskuhl gets the weak side board, and he'll get some free throws. So this is how Phoenix must stay in the game, being scrappy. They picked up another foul on Vlade. It's his second. And Vlade, as usual, with an explanation for James Capers.
I was going to say, that's unusual. Vlade talking to an official?
We have some great first names in this game. Leandro, Zarko, Peja, Vlade, Jahadi.
Jahadi's, it's normal for this game. Vosco will have one more free throw. Another great Saturday of college hoops tomorrow on ESPN and ESPN2. Michigan State going to start have to get some wins here. You know, the schedule's been good. They need them. At Wisconsin against the best team in the Big Ten thus far, the Badgers. And then on ESPN2 at 1 Eastern, Temple will be at Dayton. Always tough to play when you play Dayton on the road. It's college hoops tomorrow on ESPN, ESPN2. Great weekend of sports here on ESPN. The golf from Kapalua at the Mercedes Championships. Saturday and Sunday night in prime time. And the countdown, guys, get you ready for all the NFL playoff games this weekend as well.
Well, Phoenix has dropped back into a 2-3 zone. We'll see if Sacramento recognizes it. Now, that's exactly where you want to get in the zone where Vlade had it, right in the middle, and then they throw it away.
Songaila couldn't hang on, and Vosco comes away with it. Amari Stoudemire with his 2 personal fouls back in, along with Chaparkapa, Barbosa, Johnson, and Vosco.
Give it to Turbakova. He's got Bobby Jackson on him.
Now he's had 3 Sacramento Kings around him. Time to get a good shot. Stoudemire took it all the way.
He already had one of those.
Vosco chases it down. Again, that's 3 hustle plays in a row for the former UConn Husky. Christie couldn't keep it in bounds, so another opportunity for the Suns. It's Johnson. It's good. It's a chance for a 3-point play. That was all Jake Vosco. That last minute and a half there. That is everything Jake's been about for the 4 years at Connecticut, now his 3 years here in the league.
Well, that's why he's in the league. That's what he gets paid to do, make the hustle plays.
Rick Adelman in disbelief as his Kings here are down 3 midway through the second.
Well, what did they roll to 4 in the second quarter? Yeah. They have 4 points halfway through the quarter.
That's rare.
That's very rare. And not so much, and they've missed some wide open shots, but give Phoenix some credit for, like I said, when Sacramento gets rolling, it's a lot of back cuts, a lot of layups, a lot of wide open jump shots, and Phoenix isn't giving them the back cuts.
By the way, that last foul was on Vlade, so he has picked up 3 personal fouls. Peeler at 3, fouled as he shot it. By Barbosa. No, they're going to give it to Chaparkapa. And Peeler will come to the line for 3. The Kings are up and checking if that foul was in fact on Vlade Divac. That one was his 3rd. They were a little unsure on their bench as Peeler comes to the line for 3.
Last couple possessions, Phoenix is throwing a little 2-3 zone at him. I think at shoot-around today, they talked about mixing their defenses a little bit to try to keep them out of their offensive flow. The 2-3 zone without Peja in the game seems like it's been a little effective right now. It seems that they have a little defensive control going on.
Interesting. The bench just told Vlade that he has 2 personal fouls. The board says 3. They went over to make sure at the official score, and they did change the foul from Divac to Darius Songaila. So Vlade does have 2, and a good recognition job by the bench for Sacramento to get it straightened out. And Peeler's free throws make it a 1-point game. There's Chaparkapa on Songaila, and the quick hands of a good fundamental player. Songaila knocked it away. He tries to set up shop in the paint on Chaparkapa, but he took 3 steps. A little messy here in the second quarter. 5:45 to go, but Phoenix.
They split 8 minutes.
Well, the great story that Rick told us before the game was that when he was cut and they kept Mike, Rick had no place to stay, and he stayed in Mike's apartment. A little, obviously, would they know that 28 years later they'd be coaching against each other on national TV in the NBA. Amari Stoudemire connects. He now has 6, and the Suns lead by 3.
Did you have a conspiracy theory because Kobe Bryant wears number 8 because of Mike D'Antoni? Kobe Bryant's going to be a free agent. Could there be a little conspiracy theory going on here?
No, I doubt that, George. Vlade Divac in the lane. You should explain, people weren't with us last month, why Kobe Bryant wears number 8, and it relates back to the Suns coach Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant was born in Europe and lived in Europe with his father, Joe Bryant, and they would see Mike D'Antoni, who was playing for Milano at that time, play a lot of games on TV, and Kobe's favorite player was Mike D'Antoni. He wears number 8 because of it.
And Mike was one of the best. Matter of fact, in 1990, when they did survey, voted the best all-time guard in the Italian League, and was a coaching legend there as well. That's where most of his head coaching experience was before a year in Denver, as Barbosa bumps Bobby Jackson too quick for him. And the rookie Barbosa has picked up his 3rd personal foul. Mike was the coach of the lockout-shortened season, 98-99. 8 terrific seasons in Italy. The championship with the Benetton team over in Italy in 2002.
He played until he was like 40 years old over there.
Here is Jackson going right. And Bobby Jackson gives Sacramento a 1-point lead. So Barbosa with 3 stays on the floor with Joe Johnson, Stoudemire, McDyess, and Sean Marion. Stoudemire tried the quick hit. Beautiful pass from Christie to Jackson, who knew Stoudemire was there.
That was all Amar'e Stoudemire right there. Just his presence made him try to use the rim.
Johnson to Stoudemire in the lane. And it's taken away by Peeler. And back come the Kings. Christie, the low bounce, that's 2 for Jackson. And Mike D'Antoni will take a 22nd timeout here as Sacramento's put on a nice run to get back on top by 3. Jackson, 11 minutes and 10 points. The one guy off the bench continually getting it done for Rick Adelman.
They probably spread the court as well as anybody in transition offensively. I mean, they come down and one guy penetrates and one guy will be in the deep corner, one will be on the wing, the other will be a trailer come back, and you penetrate and suck the defense in and have a good guy to pitch in, and you see all the King playing cards right there. Bunch of all-stars. Mike Bibby, not an all-star, but a member of the USA basketball team, and not even on that list is Chris Webber, one of the best power forwards in the game. Not even on that list. So they got a lot of talent on this team, a lot of offensive talent on this team. Looking at Mike Bibby right there. Wonder if he's already decided to cut the fingernails tonight. Get the manicure. We all know Mike Bibby, every time he goes to the bench, takes out the nail clippers. Yeah. Gives himself a little manicure. But we talked a little bit about it earlier. Is this team good enough defensively? Now, they lose a lot of guys last year who were high-energy guys. Keon Clark, Jimmy Jackson, Scott Pollard, and can they replace that defensively?
Beautiful attempt by Stoudemire. Didn't get it to go. It seems like all 3 Phoenix players have been in the same spot the last 2 trips on offense. Marion the steal. Here is Barbosa at Divac. Nice find for Joe Johnson, who ran the floor.
Barbosa is extremely quick. Yeah. I mean, he is lightning out there. He's slippery and fast and quick. He's all that stuff.
Born in Sao Paulo, a draft night trade with San Antonio. Peeler comes through the lane, or excuse me, Jackson connects, and he'll get a free throw coming. So the Sacramento bench, which has not done what Rick Adelman would like it to do thus far this year, getting a great diffusion from Bobby Jackson, who has a dozen, but Barbosa and Phoenix scrappy and hanging in there as they try to get along and get to know each other. 49-46 Sacramento by 3. Tom, you were wondering about Mike Bibby and his manicure? There you go.
Well, I don't know if he's gluing something up there or not. He wasn't clipping him. I don't know if he got a straight cuticle or something like that, had to glue it back in there, but that looked like nail polish that he was putting on. But that's something that he's been doing for a long time. He goes and cuts his fingernails.
These guys from Arizona do weird things, man. I know.
See, and my wife tells me it costs $20 for those manicures.
Is it really 20?
Something like that. I don't know.
20. Wow. I would just use my teeth, to be honest with you.
I think the Mike Bibby method is fine. While you're sitting during timeouts, Stoudemire comes across the lane. He was not bashful about taking shots last year during his Rookie of the Year season. He's trying to hop in to mid-season form, coming back after 5 weeks out. He's 3 of 6 from the field. Bobby Jackson's been the hot hand. Couldn't get that one. Here's Sean Marion with Howard Isley. Johnson the trailer. But Joe Johnson, who has had some very, very good road games, but has struggled here at America West, has a 10.5 assist first half going.
Well, if you factor in, you know, Stoudemire progressing and Marion being one of the better small forwards in the West, if Joe Johnson becomes the guy who gives you 17 a night, 16 a night, you're looking at something pretty good here.
I think Barbosa and Johnson are going to be really interesting.
Ooh, crossed him over. Ooh.
Stoudemire unable to convert on Sungala, goes out of bounds. How about the wide open three for Bobby Jackson last time?
Look at the penetration, one pass. Oh, another pass. Oh, that's wide open. I'll take that one. They moved the ball great. They're really a fantastic team.
Jackson has scored 13 of the Kings' last 20 points. Nice move by Isley. And Songaila comes away with the rebound. Final 90 seconds. Jackson again. Couldn't keep it going. Nobody put a body on Peja, but he couldn't get the handle on it. Shawn Marion in the open floor. Always the odd-looking release. Yeah. Phoenix has not taken their best shots the last few, and Marion is 1 of 6. Has only scored 2 points tonight.
I was just going to say, if they want to stay in this thing in the second half, they're going to have to get more out of Shawn Marion. Obviously, they got the first half. Ouch.
Bobby Jackson again. So he's knocked down 2 threes and has 18 points.
There's a little Peja imitation going on there. We shoot more shots than Peja.
You have to find them at the three-point line in transition. If you don't, they will bury you.
Jackson has the most field goal attempts of anybody in the game tonight. He's 8 of 13, and he just picked up that foul.
And you see the dribble penetration right here, and then just the kick out, and it's too late. You know, that is too late, and that, you know where that stems from? Not being able to keep your guy in front of you. I mean, that's not a result of not closing out quickly enough. If you can't keep your man in front of you, you cause the whole defense to collapse.
One more coming for Joe Johnson as the final 50 seconds will send you back to Times Square Studio to Kevin and Greg, Bill and Stephen A. Smith for the Toyota halftime report. Those guys will have all the stories that they detailed a moment ago coming up. Doug Christie comes back in for the final minute of the half with Bibby, Jackson, Miller, and Stojakovic. Joe Johnson hits both. He has 12 points to lead the Suns. Howard Isley has 9. Jake Voskuhl 8. Come on, Tom. Where's your 2-for-1 call?
Well, I knew they were. You get another 2-for-1. Now I'm just sitting here looking at the scoreboard saying this has been a fun game so far in the first half. Ooh, ouch.
Joe Johnson sends Miller to the deck with the dribble. Peja gets the rebound. 6 seconds the difference between the game and shot clock.
This is a fun pace to this game. It's a fun pace, up and down. Guys are hitting shots. Guys are taking open shots, not continually pounding the ball.
Try to get the double on Bibby. He's too quick. Can't get the second man to him. 2 to shoot.
Look out.
Miller is open. He goes to the goal with 2 hands.
Can I use an NFL term? Blown assignment.
Yes. Howard Isley spots the clock. Jacobson spots up. Gets a 2. And we're at halftime. This can't count no matter what, because there were 0.2 of a second on the clock.
What if it bounced in?
If it bounced and he tipped it, it could have counted. Yeah, possibly. Like a bounce on a volleyball.
He could have volleyed it up. That's true. Here's Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Bobby, terrific half.
Turnovers in his 10 minutes of action.
Terrific half.
Turnovers in his 10 minutes of action in addition to his 4 missed shots. Obviously rusty on his return. Marion looking for it right at the start of the second half, and he hits his second field goal.
I think D'Antoni went after Marion to make sure he understands we got to have him more involved in the game for us to have a chance to win.
Brad Miller's first shot of the second half is over the back, and Brad is now 2 of 4 from the field. He had 6 rebounds along with Peja in the first half. What an addition Brad Miller has been. He is averaging a double-double, one of the few players in the league. Shawn Marion not too far behind, averaging 18 points and 9 boards, but a slow first half. Joe Johnson works with Barbosa in the backcourt, Marion, Voskuhl, and McDyess up front, and it's Johnson for 3. All alone for the board with Mike Bibby, who joins Christie, Miller, Stojakovic, and Divac, the starting 5 back on the floor for the Kings. The leaders in the Pacific looking to get win 25 on the season as Bibby knocks down a 2.
There it is. This high, it's not really a pick and roll. It's just, I'll call it a pick and option. Just throw to the big guy, and then you go ahead and try to figure out where you can get open.
Jake Voskuhl returns it on the other end. He averages 6 per game and already has himself in double figures. 4 of 5 tonight for the third-year player out of Connecticut. Beautiful ball movement. Just a treat to watch Sacramento share the ball. And Bibby completes it with the three.
I always believe that when you move the ball that way, the gods of basketball make the shot go in.
You spent far too much time on a sideline. Far too much. It seeped too deep into your brain. Antonio McDyess defensively on Miller. Barbosa came with the aggressive double, but left Bibby free. Couldn't hit the back-to-back three, and Sean Marion tries to push it. That's one thing this Phoenix offense has changed a little bit with the coaching change. They look for the fast break a little bit more. Miss there. Divac rebound, and he is fouled.
You know, the one thing about Sacramento, too, and their ball movement is so quick. They recognize who's open, inside, outside, swing it to the wing, up, and yak. But the one, you watch Sacramento, it just kind of occurs to me watching this team, how many shots do they take where somebody's actually right in their face? I mean, they get wide open look after wide open look after wide open. And that should have been a shot right there. Sometimes they overpass. But this team very rarely gets pressured and takes bad shots.
I think the one thing Sacramento does also, they play without the dribble.
Yeah.
The dribble is a weapon to get somebody open. It's not a dribble to get themselves open. They always, if they do use the dribble, they do it by penetration. The offensive statistics are fantastic. Number 1 in points, 2nd in field goal percentage. But they're just a great offensive machine. A lot of weapons.
Leading here by 8. Voskuhl lost the handle on the way in. Marion bails him out. Plenty of time, but he forced one up, and Doug Christie gets the rebound.
Well, that was a
9 for
contested
Sean.
shot. That was a contested shot.
Miller fouled by McDyess.
I know they don't keep this stat, and they probably don't need to because we have too many of them anyway. But how many shots Sacramento takes during a game that are actually contested? You watch them play, and they just, it seems like every time they take a shot, either it's a layup or an open jump shot.
I'm going to make you chart that next time we see Sacramento.
No.
We can get that done.
No. You can get it
An
done.
assistant. We get an assistant coach to do
Don't
that.
say we unless you got a frog in your pocket.
One more coming from Miller. Hey, tomorrow on NBA TV, Seattle will visit Golden State. TNT on Monday as a doubleheader, Philadelphia and Orlando. And LeBron James visiting the Lakers. And Wednesday on ESPN2, you'll see Allen Iverson and the Sixers take on the Dallas Mavericks at 9 Eastern time. Indiana knocking off Dallas tonight. The Mavs already at 15 losses this year. 35 games into the season. Largest lead of the night. It's 10. 3 minutes in, third quarter here in Phoenix. Andrew Barbosa, the rookie out of Brazil, nearly lost it. Jake Voskuhl saved it for him. 5 for Joe Johnson to shoot. Voskuhl tried to tip it and keep it alive, but Sacramento's get to the point where they can make a huge opening in this game. Miller left free again. Wow. And Mike D'Antoni has watched his team fall down by a dozen here out of the gate in the second half.
But the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, Sacramento got back to the rhythm, and now they've come out even in more control in the second half.
Antonio McDyess. And, George, that has to be one of the problems here for Phoenix, because when things are going tough, you want to go back to the stuff that you run the best and go back to something comfortable. They don't have anything they run the best right now because they're all learning each other.
I'll say it again, I think the game for Phoenix has a little bit of an exhibition feel to it. You know, there's a lot of combinations out there, a lot of new people. Stoudemire's back. McDyess you're trying to figure out. Barbosa's starting the point guard. Isley is his first really good game. I mean, there's just so many pieces that are just strange, and they're just going to have to take some time and build a rhythm, and I think they're going to be okay. Barbosa and Johnson are an exciting young backcourt that I would like to see play. I don't know if they're going to win a lot of basketball games, but I think they're going to be an exciting team to see how they take this opportunity and where they go with it.
McDyess makes one from the line. You mentioned the various combinations. They've used 17 different starting lineups, more than any other team. 17 different in the first 36 games. Barbosa, the defense on Mike Bibby, who's having a very good regular season. Another open look, Stojakovic. Asia has not had his best shooting night. He is 3 of 12 from the field.
Have we jinxed him or something?
You told him at halftime he was walking out the tunnel, and coach told Peja Stojakovic, he said, get that shot going. And Peja said, too open. Too open. Somebody guard him a little bit. See if he can knock down a couple shots.
Barbosa's pass went right off the hands of McDyess as Stojakovic, rare 1 of 5 from behind the line, 3 of 12 from the field. Page's 7th in the league three-point shooting. Vlade to Bibby to Miller.
Woo! They have highlights,
Awesome.
a highlight reel almost every game.
Awesome.
They've got one great set of passing every quarter that leads to a dunk.
That was 2. That was a great pass by Divac backdoor, and then whoop, right to Brad Miller for the jam.
Voskuhl tries to crash down the lane, and this is going the other way. Dick Pavetta calls an offensive foul. 4 on Jake.
And this is sweet. Back cut, boom, heads up, catch it. Miller cuts. I mean, that, keep your head up, and it's amazing what you can see.
You talk about too many stats, and you're right. A great stat for Sacramento would be like hockey, 2 assists.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that.
Same set, they find Stojakovic, and the lead is quickly 15. Sacramento has 18 assists on 27 field goals here tonight. 2 out of every 3 hoops. Barbosa tries to dribble around everyone. Jake Voskuhl, the nice pass to Joe Johnson. Voskuhl, who averages less than an assist a game. He's had a very good ball game here this evening. That's a foul on Johnson, who shoved Stojakovic in the back.
I like Vlade at the elbow here. He just makes a great pass, cutters. The time before you have Bibby, who he threw a perfect time pass, which Bibby got the assist to Miller. And Vlade here giving the handoff, working. Sacramento loves to play at that high elbow area. They don't play at the low post very much, but their centers play at the high post elbow areas. And they cut, and they move, and they backdoor, and they split, and they hit threes, and they get layups. They do everything.
Because so much runs through the active leader among centers for assists. Bibby comes to the line after the Barbosa foul, and Howard Eisley will come in for the rookie point guard. George, is it tough to defend a team that runs so much through its 5-man like Divac?
I think it's tough to prepare for Sacramento because of the elbows. I've always thought the elbow is a very difficult area to defend. It's difficult to zone that area. The passer can find the weak side as easy as he can find the strong side. And with 2 of them there, and Weber's also a great passer, I think you're just going to see the game play through the big guys more than from the little guys.
And you combine that with the great shooters, and that's why Sacramento's had this great 3-year run. Stojakovic had his pass knocked away, and the Suns come back. Casey Jacobson has joined Howard Eisley in the backcourt. Only 3 guards with Joe Johnson out there at the same time. Marion somewhat out of sorts here tonight as well, and back comes Sacramento. Shawn Marion, 2 of 11 from the field here tonight. Miller goes at him on the other end.
That's not his game.
No.
Get up the elbow, high post, not the low post.
He's a big guy, but he's a face-the-bucket big guy, not a back-to-the-basket big guy.
A 2 for Eisley, who went to Southwestern High School in Detroit. Was on the same team with Vashawn Leonard and Jalen Rose. How good a high school team is that? Their coach, Perry Watson, then went to Michigan as an assistant, now doing a very nice job at Detroit Mercy as a head coach. 3-second violation call as Divac and Stojakovic work the passing on the outside.
But I think I can get him if I can just stay healthy. Now, your Achilles was the problem. You had a torn tendon down in there someplace. How's it coming along?
Very good. You know, I got over those injuries. The decathlon is all about training, and Bruce Jenner, Bob Mathias, Rayford Johnson, those guys will tell you it's all about training. If you can't train, you can't get ready for this event. For the last 2 years, I've been able to train very hard.
All right, Dan, we wish you all the best. We'll be following you to Athens.
All right, thanks.
All right, Mike, back downstairs to you. Are you in high definition as well?
No, Jim, but your high definition presentation was so good, I look forward to the next one.
I'm going to do it every week, Mike. I'll be up here, right in this booth, no matter where you guys are. I'm going to be standing in front of this television monitor. I love this high definition. You can see all the detail. You can see Vlade's eyebrows. You can even see Tom Tolbert, whether he shaved this morning at about 5 a.m. or this afternoon at about 3 p.m. I think it's about a 3 p.m. deal. It's just a little stubble left.
Stojakovic hits the 3. It's 79-63, largest lead of the night here at 16. So Page is getting his touch back. Shawn Marion continues to miss his touch, 2 of 12 from the field. This game has gotten away from the Suns very quickly. Amari Stoudemire, who played 10 minutes in the first half, going to come in here, and an offensive foul called by Dick Bavetta.
Did the bull rush on him. Hey, just a quick question. Don't you need a high-definition television to enjoy the picture that we're showing you on the high definition? If we show you the high-definition TV and you're watching it in cable, do you really get the gist of what's going on?
Did he lose you, George? He lost me.
No, I'm just curious. Anyway, back to the game.
That's why you get ESPN HD and figure it out, Tom, so you don't have these issues.
I need that. I really do.
Here is Stoudemire back off the bench. 4 misses, 4 turnovers in his first half 10 minutes, but he gets it back. The Rookie of the Year from 2003 cuts the deficit to 14.
He's one of those guys, when you come watch him play, you hold your breath every time he touches the ball because you just never know what he's going to do, and a lot of times it's spectacular.
They force it out of the hands of Bibby. Miller touched Divac. Bibby. Chased down by Marion. This is the new Phoenix look. Get out and go. Marion denied. Stoudemire got it back. And we'll get to the line.
They might start treating this guy like Shaq, where if he gets the ball underneath, they're just going to foul him. And right here, nice little pivot to the side, gets up. And once he gets down in that 5-6 foot range, he can just jump over you. And he just jumps over everybody. He's so explosive and such a quick leaper. We'll see how his free throws progress. He's a guy that, you know, if he doesn't make a lot of free throws, you're not going to want to get embarrassed down there by this guy because he can embarrass you.
Bobby Jackson comes back in after his terrific first half. And Vlade Divac will go to the bench.
And he's 19 years old? Stoudemire. How old is Stoudemire?
Stoudemire he's 21 now.
Yeah.
He's 21 now. Yes, born November of '82.
He's an old high school student.
Well, he had the multiple high schools that he went to during his high school years. A very difficult situation at home that he was able to overcome. And frankly, that's why some people passed on him. He was the only high school player taken in the draft last year, when he was taken 9th overall. Bibby, a 3. Sacramento's taken a ton of threes here in this third quarter. Casey Jacobson able to reel it in and set up Joe Johnson. Jackson the rebound. Phoenix, after that great hot start shooting, now down at about 42%. They're in the mid-50s in the first quarter.
Right now, it's just target practice for Sacramento. Absolute target practice. I would say
them apart.
Yeah, I mean, 95% of their shots this quarter, whether they make or miss, Phoenix's defense has no bearing on the outcome of their shots.
I think Sacramento should be complimented because they played one of their worst games, if not their worst games, against Seattle a couple nights ago. And Rick Allen said this team comes back, and it has come back and played very, very well tonight.
We got a good look, but Jacobson couldn't knock it down, and the Kings come back, leading by 16. Here you see the story. Here in the third, 8 of 14 for the Kings.
Well, the whole third quarter, you just watch Phoenix take shots that are contested, and Sacramento take shots that aren't contested. That's the difference of the game.
They're an offensive machine. And when you see Sacramento play, they move and pass the ball. They don't play with the dribbles. They just find the open man. Wherever the defense gives them, they find it. And they usually find an open shot or layup to get it. Here's a dunk. Bibby's great passing. Most of it comes from high post catches by Miller or Divac. And they're just a superb offensive basketball team. Rick Allen said before the game that they're better this year than they were last year, and they're balanced. There's not one superstar getting 35. They got guys getting 18 and 15 and 14, and they're just a very, very difficult team to prepare for because of their passing and their execution, but also their depth and versatility.
Vlade Divac.
Mike Bibby at the line. It's them both. Pete Carrill sitting next to Rick Adelman there, the legendary Princeton head coach. Helped good. Pete back on the bench, traveling full-time with the Kings here as an assistant this year.
The Princeton offense.
Look out.
Woo, Stoudemire. There you go. Brad Miller's just looking, come on. Are you kidding me? 83-67. Sacramento, 8 field goals in the quarter. All 8 have come with an assist. Casey Jacobson watching Jackson, waited for the Miller screen. 6 to shoot. He lost him baseline. And Jackson draws the foul.
And the other thing about Stoudemire is a lot of guys have to really gather when they get the ball down low. You see him right here, just going to get the body, knows where he is, slips baseline, and then doink. He didn't even gather himself. He just, I mean, the knees were almost locked when he jumped, and still was able to jump up and cram it home.
Talking about the legendary Pete Carril a moment ago. He was helping Brad Miller get ready for this game earlier today. As the players are out warming up, Pete went out and grabbed the basketball and was feeding Brad Miller.
Still loves the game.
It's great to be around him, too. Joe Johnson connects to make it 84-69. Johnson leading the Suns in scoring with 16. Game's high score is Bibby with 19, back in his hometown. Went to Shadow Mountain High School here in Phoenix. Miller left free. Stoudemire the rebound.
Whatever the defense gives them, they find the open man. Whatever they sag, they throw it to the big guy. They don't rotate, he takes the shot. If they rotate, he finds the open man.
Isley on the turnover. Stojakovic with the finish. And really 7 or 8 possessions that come to mind that you just see the lack of familiarity with the teammates that have caused Phoenix turnovers.
Yeah. Not sure where everybody's going to be on the court, who's coming over to set the pick and roll, where I should be as far as spacing goes.
What the guy's name is? Harold?
Isley gets the second chance point. 15 here in the last half minute.
Oh, Brad Miller killed his own teammate. It's easy, Brad.
It's a dribble handoff, not a dribble knockdown. Christie knocks down the jumper. It's 88-71.
With his own teammate.
This quarter's been a clinic. Sacramento, every play has been well executed and has gotten a great shot.
Is that Mike Shrona?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Anything could have played to Mike Shrona. It's a knack.
Now, why they play it during the game?
I don't know. I hate that.
Me too. I can't stand that. Here's Christie trying to beat the clock. Did not get the shot off, and that concludes.
Finally made a mistake.
Sacramento outscored Phoenix by 10 in that quarter. One of the reasons why, easy hoops. 10 field goals coming with 9 assists. Holding on. Phoenix trying to hold on and stay in this one. Off we go to the board from downtown Phoenix. Sacramento by 17 on NBA Friday on ESPN. Hey, glad you're with us here on ESPN. Hey, glad you're with us here in the Valley of the Sun, where a new-look Phoenix team is getting used to the new parts. There is Žarko Čeparkapa back from his wrist injury, chatting with former Yugoslavian national teammate Peja Stojakovic. And he just lost Peja, who just hit a 3 on his buddy Žarko. He said, that's why I picked up the check for dinner last night, Žarko. 91-71.
Oops.
Joe Johnson, Casey Jacobson, Donnell Harvey, Čeparkapa, and Howard Isley. And Johnson connects on the field goal. A guy who's continuing to step up his play. Showed great leadership against Milwaukee the other night. One of the losses on the road trip. Miller to Stojakovic.
Hey, Woody, you can see that one coming sitting over here. It's a lot harder when you're out there guarding the guy, but you hedge out on him because he's such a great outside shooter. He gives you a little jab step, back cut, and you're beat.
Peja's made his last 6. He was cold and he took it serious second half.
Casey Jacobson up top, had his hand hit after the release, but he knocks down the 3. This is going to be an important month or so, or 3 months or so, excuse me, for Jacobson, as guys try to prove if they can be a part of this rebuilt Suns team. Jacobson now in his second year in the league, a mismatch. He's got Brad Miller inside, but good defense by Harvey. Knocked it away. Isley elbows Bibby, and it's an offensive foul. He had Bibby trailing, and Isley threw the elbow.
I think that was Hollywood.
I got to give Bibby a little nomination here, too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I really don't like that call. I wish referees would make sure that a flop or a fake or something like that. I don't think it's good for the game.
Well, if you're Isley and you have a guy trailing you, why would you stick your elbow out in the first place?
he was going to catch him?
No, he wouldn't even catch him. He's 15 feet away from the bucket.
The hometown guy, Bibby, with a beautiful breakdown on the dribble to make it 95-76. Mike has 21 points. Donnell Harvey waiting. Allowed another defender to come his way, but able to hit the shot. And it's 17.
Nice move. Get in the paint, pivot one way, then go back, get to your strong hand. I'm sure Brad Miller probably tried to keep away from that left hand from now on.
Have not seen much of Antonio McDyess here in the second half, and Harvey fouls Miller in the act of shooting.
Well, we talked about their cutting, and this is going to be Peja Stojakovic out here. Now watch what happens when he's able to get Čerbaković looking. The cut, as soon as the head's turned, he's gone. And by the time you turn your head around, he's gone again.
It came right after he made the three.
Yep, exactly.
So out there, they're stretched out. They're worried about the three, and he back cuts him, and Miller finds him for an easy layup.
And the one thing I didn't get a chance to show is there was nobody in the paint. I mean, the Kings, you mentioned that. The Kings do as good a job as anybody of keeping the paint clear. So when you cut, you're not running into a big man. You're not running into another defender. You got a clear lane to the basket.
The big men are usually at the high post or at the elbows or standing on the perimeter.
Anthony Peeler's coming for Sacramento. Leandro Barbosa for Phoenix. And Brad Miller, who coach thinks may be the best offseason acquisition in the NBA. Knocks down one of the free throws there to make it an 18-point game. Čerbaković, his timing is off as well. He's missed 22 games after the right wrist fracture against Dallas right around Thanksgiving time.
I mean, when you watch Sacramento play, Brad Miller looks like he's been a part of the team for years. He's only been here a couple months.
Let's package his second half up and send it around to high schools around the country.
How about NBA teams?
Barbosa, who has a nice outside shot, hits the three to make it a 17-point game.
They're too old. They won't listen. Let's start the youth movement. Send it out to a whole bunch of high schools and junior high schools and say, this is how you play basketball.
And then they'll go back and watch street ball, and we'll be in trouble again.
Well, that's a video game. Pretty good one, too.
A street ball?
Yeah.
No, he means the
Street ball, and
Oh, I thought you were talking about the video game.
the dribble game.
Oh, okay.
There's Harvey from the top. Doesn't look very comfortable coming out, but he's improved his outside shooting this year. Both of these teams will face Denver next. A blocking foul called on Donnell Harvey. The contact with Bobby Jackson. We'll step out. It's Sacramento by 15. Žarko Čerbaković, an education from a former teammate.
One of the principles of basketball, ball you man. Right there, he sees ball. He's got his hand on his man. Now he sees ball. He doesn't have the hand on his man, and he's looking. Where'd he go? I know I had him. I know I played with him. There he is. Now it's ball, you through the hoop, and man and bucket for the Sacramento Kings. Crafty.
And Stojakovic's 7th consecutive field goal. Čerbaković is now on the bench. Vlade Divac. Vranić, who we mentioned earlier, was a part of this trade as well with the Knicks and Phoenix. Peja misses the three. And it's out of bounds off Sacramento. Also, Marko Jaric with the Clippers. Drobnjak and Radmanovic from Seattle. Among the players on that Yugoslavian national team.
Mike, you just showed that replay?
Yes.
That's why Peja bought dinner.
Sean Marion with a nice finish from Barbosa. And it's a 13-point game with a few stops here. The Suns could get it back to single digits and try to mount a little bit of a run. Donnell Harvey defensively on Miller. The switch on the screen with Peeler. Stojakovich over Sean Marion. Rebound for Harvey. So here go the Suns. Try to get to 11 or 10. Barbosa in rhythm. Well,
Bad rhythm. Out of rhythm.
Bobby Jackson, a great first half. Knocks that one down for his 9th field goal of the night. He has 21 after 18 before the break. Casey Jacobson misses his three.
Not only are these games fun for a coach, well, for Coach Rick Adelman, but it's also nice you can get Vlade Divac. Whenever you can get him a little more rest than usual, it's always nice to be able to sit him on the bench and get those legs some rest.
Christie the miss, Harvey the rebound. Vlade did not play at all in the second half. A total of 14 minutes in the loss to Seattle. He's played 25 minutes here. They'll count that basket, and Joe Johnson has a chance for the three-point play.
I think as the season goes on and Weber returns, Vlade will be the player not getting the minutes.
Yeah. A nice crossover right there on Brad Miller and getting to the hoop and the foul. And I think, Vlade understands that. Vlade needs more rest than Miller and Chris Webber.
We were in there with Jim as well as we were talking with Rick Adelman about Chris Webber.
Yeah, he said he played some 4-on-4. Everybody got excited that he's coming back. Played some half court, but he's done no running and no full court action. Adelman told us before the game he really has no idea, Mike, when he's going to come back, but he doesn't want him to come back right now and play half speed. He wants him to be healthy. They said it was going to be 6 to 8 months. We're coming on to the 8-month mark. He says he should be sometime, but he really doesn't know when.
Jackson up top, missed the three. The rebound for Joe Johnson. I think that is the interesting part, Jim, that Rick was very blunt. He has no idea when Chris Webber is going to be back. And time will start getting short here once we get to the All-Star break.
I think their winning and losing might determine it, too. If they keep winning, I think they're going to be slower and more conservative with bringing him back. But if they struggle and they start losing their lead in the division, you might see him come back faster.
Well, I see these people here. Now I hear them. 10-point game. Phoenix showing a sign here. Bibby tries to quiet them. Kept alive by Miller. Keeler. Rebound. Phoenix. A 20-point lead. Now down to 10 at the halfway mark of the fourth.
What Adelman say before the game? We can let an 18-point lead get to an 8-point lead quicker than anybody in the league.
Or maybe 7. Barbosa missed the three. Miller the rebound.
Well, they've been settling for jump shots with guys in their face. And sometimes when you get up 20, you just maybe don't cut quite as hard or try to get away from your defender as hard.
Donnell Harvey got up in the jersey of Brad Miller and caused that offensive foul on the Sacramento big man. Hey, we welcome the people in America West Arena to our game tonight.
I think it's a foul before the charge, but Miller did get it pretty good. That's a pretty good hit.
Suns ball, the West Arena. Cedric Ceballos, former Sun, leading the building in entertainment. Let's check our GMC game track. Those of you just joining us, it was one-sided early in the third. Peja Stojakovic, 16 here in the second half. The lead ballooning for Sacramento, up 20 at one point. Amari Stoudemire, first game back after missing 5 weeks with the ankle sprain, has 10 points. He's been his spectacular self at times. Sacramento has 26 assists on its 37 field goals here tonight. But a little run here by the Suns have them back in it. Guys, what do they have to do here in the last 5.5 to have a chance to steal this one from Sac?
They got to keep playing defense. They got to keep getting stops. Sacramento was putting a clinic on offensively. In about 5 possessions in a row, they didn't score, and they scored, and they came down and knocked down some shots. But for them to get back in the game, they kind of continue to be a defensive team.
Here is Stoudemire over Miller. And the rebound for Bobby Jackson. Remember, not only has Amari Stoudemire not played a game in 5 weeks, he hasn't been in a tight pressure situation in that long as well.
And Phoenix hasn't given up. Last 2 or 3 minutes, they've cut down on the layup. They haven't let him get any back doors, haven't let him get any runners in the lane from 3 or 4 feet. The defense really picked up.
Bibby on the switch, almost lost it, got it back, and got the hoop. And the steal by Jackson, who is fouled by Shawn Marion.
Alrighty then.
Mike D'Antoni wanted the carry violation. I think there was contact made with the ball as Mike Bibby handled it on the sideline.
As we were talking about no layups, Mike Bibby dribbles it high. And then I don't know if somebody thought they were going to call a carry and just let him go all the way to the bucket and lay it up, but
it could have been called a carry.
Jackson at the line, hits 1 of 2. The lead remains 13. Look at Barbosa's speed, and he draws the foul on Jackson. And he comes to Phoenix, and it's a pretty big metropolitan area and a big city, but Barbosa said he's getting used to a small town. He's from Sao Paulo. And the population in Brazil is huge, especially in Sao Paulo. So that's been a bit of an adjustment for him here this year.
Small town?
I know. Relative to Sao Paulo, yes. Casey Jacobsen struggling with his outside shot again here tonight. He's missed his last couple. He is 2 of 10 coming into tonight. And he's been 3 of 6 from the field thus far. Maybe a 2. Marion goes up to get it.
Well, Phoenix has to start looking to get shots early in the offense. Get down to the 4-minute mark. You can't waste a lot of time each time down the court. Look for a good shot and let it go.
Shawn Marion's had a horrible night. 4-15. Bibby goes up and gets it.
I don't know if they can beat Sacramento with Marion having a bad game.
He is their best player at 18 points and 9 rebounds a game. Bobby Jackson and Miller play the 2-man game. Peeler hands to Stojakovic for 3. The Phoenix bench, the coaches wanted an illegal screen on Peeler. It was not called. Joe Johnson from up top. And after getting close within 10, Sacramento scored the last 6 and popped the balloon here in America West. By 2.5 over the Lakers, but do not have the best record in the league. With the win tonight, Indiana, by percentage point, maintains the NBA's best mark.
I think it's an impressive win by Indiana in Dallas. I think they went down there and beat a very good offensive basketball team on their home court.
I think Dallas is still searching for themselves right now. They don't get the feeling they have that same confidence, and I think missing Nick Van Exel has a lot to do with it. And they're basically, they are and are not the same team they were last year. They aren't because they're missing Nick. They are in the sense that when it comes to playoff time, they're just going to have to outscore people to beat them.
We have to remember that the Kings, with this great record at 25-9, as Bibby extends his point total to 25 with 9 assists.
That pass by the big guy. Hey, how about this one? I'm not much for stats, but there's 2 people on the Kings that 3 times this year have had 10+ assists in a game. One's Mike Bibby, the point guard you expected. The other's Brad Miller, the center.
Brad has 7 assists here tonight. Kings haven't played the Lakers. They're going to play once each month, 1 week from tonight, right here on ESPN. The first of the 4 meetings. That'll be at Staples.
They haven't played San Antonio yet either.
Played San Antonio.
Next Friday, right at Arco?
At Arco. I said Staples.
Yeah, at Arco. They were in Sacramento and Lakers. That'd be fun to do that game.
The worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Neil Everett, Steve Berthiaume standing by with SportsCenter as we say goodnight from the Valley of the Sun, sacked by 20.